selector, rewind selector, rewind selector, rewind selector, rewind selector, rewind selector.
Hi guys, welcome to Habitual Crypto. My name's Dan, and today we're going to take a look at Bitcoin and the correction it's making, as well as the Bitcoin Dominance Chart and what levels could affect altcoins or another rise in Bitcoin dominance. So let's get right into it with the Bitcoin chart here. We have our Fibonacci level from yesterday. And as you can see, the correction that we were making, let me just yeah, there we go. I just make that so we can see a little better. We talked about this yesterday, where we came down and we came to the 0.382 Fibonacci level, which is normally one spot where there may be some support. And that did hold up yesterday, but throughout the night, we actually had another breakdown, and we came to almost to the 50% mark, which is a big support level as far as a retracement goes. When you have a big move like this up, and it's very common for people to take profits, and then people can keep taking profits and plan on getting back in around the 50% retracement mark. So we go up and then we come down about 50% of the move in total. So this being the entire move, starting from here, going up and topping out at 58,500 roughly. And then a very common retracement would be back down to the 50% mark. And right now we haven't reached that quite yet. If we zoom in here, we are right around 46,000. And I wouldn't be surprised if we go down and hit around 44,000. Not only would that be a 50% retracement, but there's also, if you look back in history, this acted as support and resistance here and here. Here we had a little trouble breaking it, and then here we came back down and tested it almost perfectly, and it acted as support, which kept the move going. So I'm sure a lot of traders and people are looking at this level because not only is it a Fibonacci retracement level, but it's also been a historical support level. So what we want to see here is either, let's go into the 1 hour chart. We want to either see, this turnaround here, because we did hit 4,500, which isn't a Fibonacci retracement level, and it's not necessarily a level we had any historical support, but 4,500, normally like the 5 and 10 levels going up are just psychological levels for people. So we could even add a little support line there, right on the 45, which is where we did actually make support this time. So we'll see if we can hold it there. Otherwise, I wouldn't be surprised if we come down and hit the 44 level. And anything below that, let's see if there's any more support below the 45. So below 44,000, there wasn't much support here, except for, we did hang around 42,000 a little bit, and then we did 40,000 will obviously be another big support. So we do have, a couple big support levels all the way down to 40,000. I would be very surprised if we went below 40,000. But in saying that, I do want to look at our daily EMA lines. So this is the moving averages for this is the 9-day moving average and the 21-day moving average, and we have broken both of those. But I also want to look, another very common one is the 50-day. So I'm going to put that on here for us. And we will make that yellow. And that lines up with the 40,000 as well. So coming down and hitting the 50-day moving average. Again, all of this is still, we are still in an upward trend, even if we come all the way down to 40,000. We're still in an upward trend. Technically, anything above 35,000 would be still a higher low than our previous low here. So, I still look at these corrections as very healthy for our in the long run. You need to have, it's okay for people to take profits at these levels. Like, you want people, happy with the crypto market. You want people, making money and helping their families, especially in times like now. So people who invested, anywhere, on the way up and got to 58,000 and were like, oh, we're gonna take some profits here and, help our livelihood. That's a good thing. That's one thing that may have happened. Now, I know if I turn on our volume here, you can see we did have some relatively, okay volume here, but like if you look at our previous drop, which was smaller percentage wise, but we had a much larger volume candle. So what am I trying to point out here? My point is that this most of this was caused by leverage trading, which I talked about yesterday, but it's basically just people, too many people thinking that Bitcoin's going to keep going up, so they put in these long leverage trades, which means they're let me just pull up an example of just to give you guys a visual of what's happening here. Okay, so here we go. Pull this up and zoom in a bit. And it's a little blurry, but I think you guys can see that. And basically, somebody can go into these futures exchanges and they can come in with, let's say, $2,000, okay? And they can put 50x or 50 to 1 leverage on a trade. So let's say they got in at 50,000. They got into Bitcoin at 50,000 thinking it's going to go up. They could come in with 2,000, but they could basically bet they could get 100,000 of borrowed money to leverage their trade with. So they only need 2,000, but they're able to bet 100,000. So basically every 1% that Bitcoin goes up from there, they will make 50% off of their $2,000 trade. So you think, oh wow, that you can make a lot of money very quickly. And a lot of them, if they did that trade, they would have made a lot of money all the way up to 58,000. Now the negative of leverage trading is that when you're doing a 50 to 1 leverage, that means every 1% is really 50%. So if you go up 2%, you've doubled your money because that's 100%. So if you go in with the 2,000 and you do 50x leverage and Bitcoin goes up 2%, now instead of just making 2% on your $2,000, you made 100%. And so you've doubled your money just by Bitcoin going up 2%. Now, but the problem is it works the other way around. If you go in and you do the 50x leverage, and let's say Bitcoin goes all the way up to 58,000 like it did, but then you have the drop like yesterday, and it comes back down, and it goes to 49,000. Right at 49,000, your original trade now went down 2%. So you get liquidated right there. your money is gone. Your original, just by the point where you enter the trade, it going down 2%, because it's 50 to 1, so each percent is 50% in reality. So you go down 2%, that's 100%, you get wiped out, your money's gone. So they have all this leverage trading. Now you could do 20x instead of 50, but that means you would only need to go down 5% to lose all of your money. So basically what happened was, most likely, there was some big whales in the Bitcoin community, people with tons of Bitcoin, possibly coordinated pushing the price down, so selling all at once, because they knew there was way too many people who were leveraged long. So by doing that, they caused all of these liquidations, and all of these long bets it was a snowball that kept rolling and getting bigger and bigger, liquidating all of these big bets on the way down, because going down a few percent can liquidate someone's entire bet. So most likely that had a big hand in what happened the past couple days. Again, this is kind of normal in the crypto market, but crypto is already volatile enough. I would never recommend futures trading or leverage trading like this, because this kind of stuff can happen. You can feel so good if you got in a long trade at 45,000 in Bitcoin, and you went all the way up to 58,000, and it just gets erased because it went down to 44,000 in a matter of a couple days. So it's not good for the overall market, and it's not good for average traders, because there's people with more money that can kind of manipulate the price enough to affect leverage trading. So it's not really going to affect, just a normal investor that, has a long-term goal in mind. Because the reason I know this was more leverage trading is because the volume isn't that high compared to previous drops. It does cause a lot of people to panic sell, but these weren't institutions selling money. They're not selling Bitcoin. This isn't, Tesla didn't sell its Bitcoin. That's not what's happening here. This is a couple, big Bitcoin holders, most likely coordinated, that caused a liquidation snowball to happen, and then in turn, when people just getting into this industry see that happening, there probably was a lot of panic selling, because they're not listening to this channel knowing that this is going to happen. In 2017, we came all the way down to the 50-day moving average over 10 times on the way up. This is normal. Now, with the leverage trading, that hopefully, is not something that's going to happen all the time. But my point is, I'm not worried at all about this market. It does look healthy, and hopefully this will calm down the market so we can regain some, have a cool off period, kind of power back up for another move up to the next levels, like 60,000, 70,000. That would be, that's my hope for what happens from here. But I just don't want anyone to, get scared of, what's going to happen. Is the market crashing? Is the bull market over? I would say we're only about like 30 to 40% through the bull market so far. I think we have many months to go from here, and a lot higher to go. Not financial advice, but this is my take on the market. And anybody who was around for 2017, like, was not phased at all over the past couple days at what happened. It's just normal. You know, the reasons it's happening are, you know, changed a little bit, but overall it's the same story, and it's not a bad thing. It's good for some people to take profits, and now there's an opportunity for people to get in, you know, at a little discounted price also. But yeah, we have some support here, even if we do go a little lower over the next couple days. But hopefully Bitcoin will move sideways and kind of range between like 45,000 and 52,000. That would be good over, you know, the next week or two until we have another, you know, move up. I think that would, you know, kind of like refilling your tank to make another trip up, eventually to the moon. We'll see. But yeah, everything looks good. I just don't want anyone to get scared, you know, out of their positions, and things are looking good. And if you're into altcoins, we're going to look at the Bitcoin Dominance Chart today. That's kind of going to be my main focus. First, we'll look at Ethereum, and then we'll go into the Bitcoin Dominance Chart. But my point is, when Bitcoin, if you look here, when Bitcoin kind of had a correction here, and then kind of ranged and went down just a little bit before its next move over a, you know, about a 2-week period, this gave people an opportunity. A lot of people saw Bitcoin settling down. I'm going to take some profits from Bitcoin and move them into other cryptocurrencies, some altcoins like Ethereum, Cardano, you know, tons of options there, tons of good projects. And this gave people a chance to do that, and we saw some really big gains in those altcoins as well. So I'm expecting to see a similar similar pattern happen here. So first we'll take a look at Ethereum, and then we'll look at the dominance chart and see some levels for possibly some altcoins to start moving. So Ethereum, you know, following the Bitcoin move, but Ethereum actually did take a pretty decent hit here, and as you can see, we sold off past the 50-day moving average, but now we're sitting right at it. It looks like we're trying to, if we go to the hourly chart, well, because it's a daily moving average, it's going to switch if I go to the chart, but we can zoom in here, and you see we're sitting right at that 50-day moving average. So let's, you know, there's a good chance it's kind of being used as support right now, and hopefully Ethereum will rebound a little bit there. But you know, I expect this to move a lot like Bitcoin. Although if Bitcoin does kind of move sideways for a while, there is a very good chance that Ethereum will receive some of the profits that are taken from Bitcoin. Some of the money will kind of move from Bitcoin to Ethereum and those top altcoins if Bitcoin looks like it's settling down to take a little break. A lot of that money will probably move into Ethereum, and we'll see the Ethereum price rise faster than the Bitcoin price. So, and that will be displayed on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, which is here. And yeah, if we look at this chart, though Ethereum, took a bigger hit this time, since November, Ethereum has been, so this is the Bitcoin Ethereum chart. Ethereum has been making higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher lows, and now we made a higher high, and now we're making a higher low than this previous one. So the Ethereum to Bitcoin ratio, Ethereum is still gaining ground percentage-wise on Bitcoin. And though we're at a low point right now, it's higher than this previous low, and most likely when we come back up, we'll make a higher high, because the trend has not changed. And it might take a little time, but basically throughout the rest of the cycle, I'm expecting Ethereum to do better than Bitcoin as far as percentage in gains goes. How much better? It may be very close. It may do, a couple multiples better. But if I had to guess, I think that's what's going to happen there. And then let's go to the Bitcoin Dominance Chart. So this is what I was talking about before. Bitcoin has been on, this is kind of our bull run started right about here. So let's kind of zoom in to just this area. Okay. So this is when pretty much right around here is where Bitcoin started, broke 10,000 and started its bull run. Okay. So we got up here, and this is around where we broke 20,000, had a correction here, and have moved all the way up to 74% almost. That's how much of the money in crypto was in Bitcoin. 74% was in Bitcoin. Out of all of the money in crypto, 74% of it was in Bitcoin alone. Okay, and that's where it topped out at the beginning of the year. Now, since then, it's been on a downward trend, and we are kind of plateauing here. But even with the volatility in Bitcoin, even having that, it was about a 23% drop in a couple days, we're still relatively close to where we were the past week in Bitcoin dominance. And basically what that tells me is that people are not so sure that Bitcoin is going to take over again for the time being. That it's just all of the money is just going to transfer back into Bitcoin for the time being. I think people are aware if Bitcoin kind of takes a break here, that we could see a drop in Bitcoin dominance, because people will be moving their money into altcoins, and we'll see some rises in altcoins there. So I want to look at some important some important targets and points of resistance to see if there's a point where Bitcoin, where these altcoins could kind of take over and possibly get down. If this trend continues from all the way back in September, we've hit this many times, and most likely we'll end up around the 51, basically anywhere from 50% to 52% in Bitcoin dominance, which would mean altcoins would have roughly 48 to 50% of all of the wealth and all of the market cap in cryptocurrency. They would have about half of it, while Bitcoin has the other half. And to give you kind of a way to estimate how much that would be in percent gains, roughly on average, when Bitcoin dominance falls 1%, so like from 63 to 62, altcoins, the average altcoin will gain 10% on Bitcoin. So it will gain 10% more than Bitcoin. That doesn't mean 10% dollar value wise. It means compared to Bitcoin, with its Bitcoin pairing, it will gain about 10% on Bitcoin. So, if we were to drop, right now we're about 63%. If we were to drop down to 52%, that's 11 percentage points, okay? So on average, the average altcoin would gain about 110% on Bitcoin, okay? So that, if you have one Bitcoin worth of Ethereum, if you have enough Ethereum to equal one Bitcoin, then if we dropped 10 percentage points here, most likely that one Bitcoin would now be worth 2 Bitcoin, because Ethereum's value would have gained 100% to what Bitcoin would be at. And if we go back to the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, that would mean right now we're at 0.03, so 3% of a Bitcoin. That's what one Ethereum is roughly worth, okay? If Bitcoin dominance is to fall 10 percentage points, then we should see Ethereum rise to roughly 6. Roughly from here, we could see it rise all the way up to about 6%, roughly 100% from where it is now of a Bitcoin. So I hope that makes sense. But back to the Bitcoin dominance chart. So that's why, people that are, in the altcoins in general, are hoping for this to continue downward, because it's been going down, and if it most likely will continue if it follows history, because this right here is the 2017 Bitcoin dominance chart. So though it did have some pullbacks in general over that year, it went all the way down to 35%. So it going to 50, I think it's very, very likely it will at the very least go to 50 at some point during this bull market, if history tells us anything. But I did want to draw some areas of resistance using our time here. So I know some of you have been asking about altcoins. We talked about Engine yesterday. If Bitcoin dominance continues on this trend down to fall, or down to the next resistance point, there's a good chance that these altcoins like Engine, Ethereum will not only gain in dollar value, but will most likely gain even more in Bitcoin's value. So if your goal is to accumulate more Bitcoin, having these altcoins, if we were to hit this resistance level here, that might be a point to, not financial advice, but sell into Bitcoin again and see if there's a rebound. And then if there is, there might be another resistance level where altcoins might take the lead again, and maybe you sell back into some altcoins that you like. Or you can just buy and hold for long term, which I believe will be beneficial in many of the main altcoins and Bitcoin, if you're looking just to accumulate, dollar wise. But I did want to draw, so this is all the way back in January 2018 where we bottomed out, and I wanted to draw basically this line here. You can see we bottomed out here, so we found there was support for Bitcoin. Then we hit it again here, and then Bitcoin just kept going up during the bear market, kind of took over all the way up to 70, dropped down, and then came back up and topped out at around the same level again. And you could say, well, that looks like, an uptrend. It could be an uptrend, although right here is this bull cycle. So we're in a bull market now, where this was the previous bull market over here. So there's not much reason for me to think that Bitcoin's going to keep making a higher high during a bull market, because in the past, Bitcoin dominance has just continued to fall over the time period of the bull market. So what I believe will happen is eventually we will break. Now, another thing to consider is this would be called a double top here, because we topped out here and we topped out here, which means basically the chart's saying, technical analysis would say this is kind of a cemented top, and it doesn't look like it's gonna break that point when it would have to come up and test it again. But a double top normally means we're going to go back down a bit. So that's just another indicator to consider. But we have this resistance, and then we have, let's see here. just another from the beginning of the bull market. We had another point of resistance here. Basically, there we go. Basically, where we bottomed out before we started the next rally up. So my point is, these two lines are almost converging right where we are. This is a big point, kind of a big make or break point for Bitcoin dominance versus altcoin dominance. And we'll see. We might, if Bitcoin settles down, we might push down. And my whole point is that if we break these two big points of resistance, I think we're going to see a pretty heavy drop in Bitcoin dominance. I don't think it's going to be as gradual as this previous couple months where altcoins gained, but it was nothing crazy. During an alt season, when alts really take the reins for a period of time, back in 2017, we saw crazy returns, like all of the top altcoins doing, double-digit percentages every day, pretty much for a couple weeks. And though we see some of that, we haven't. I don't think we've seen the magnitude of what can really come, especially since so much money has come into the market. We were over $1 trillion just in Bitcoin alone. So if that money gets distributed to these other lower cap altcoins, I think you can see them multiply very fast. So my point is, if we do break these two resistance points, which you can see we've been almost a month we've been hitting this line, but there hasn't been a big bounce up. It's mainly been staying right on that, and if Bitcoin settles down, most of the time that will bring it down, and if we break through it, I think we're going to see a pretty big drop in Bitcoin dominance here. So we will see what happens. Another possibility is that Bitcoin, kind of rebounds pretty quickly from its correction here. And basically, another point of resistance is where we topped out here, over here. If we are to, Bitcoin to gain some more dominance, and come up here, but get stopped out there, then we have formed a pretty common pattern in technical analysis, which would be the head and shoulders pattern. And then this would be the other shoulder. So if Bitcoin does come up a little bit, I don't see it going back up to 73 or even in the 70s, because we're in a bull market and Bitcoin tends to lose percentage-wise, lose its dominance. But if we do get a little kickback up to around 67 here, that would almost give alts even more, what's the word I'm looking for? Momentum, because if this head and shoulders does form, you typically go down the same amount as the, from the top of the head to the neckline, which would be here. So you see this, you would see this move from here, from this point. So if we if we take that and put that here, basically that would bring us down to around 48% on Bitcoin dominance. So, you know, this is all hypothetical. If we do see a little rebound in Bitcoin dominance, I guarantee a lot of analysis will say, oh, we're forming a head and shoulders pattern, and that could bring us down even further than if we are to break through right now. You know, we're just kind of playing around, seeing what may happen, but I think it's more likely that we I think it's more likely that Bitcoin slows down here, and that's what causes us to break through these resistance, and then we see a big drop here. That would be my guess, if I had to guess, based on just what has happened in the past and what, you know, I wouldn't be saying that if Bitcoin kept going up the way it has been. If Bitcoin kept going up and we broke 60K, got up to 65,000, then I would expect probably this head and shoulders pattern to happen. You know, and that might take some time. You know, that might take a month or two for that to happen. But if Bitcoin settles down for a couple weeks, I think we might make a move down past 61. That's pretty much between 63 and 61 right now. That's kind of what we've been in. And if we're able to break through 61, I think we're going to see a pretty strong dip here in Bitcoin dominance, giving the altcoins kind of room to grow, gain on Bitcoin. Let's see here. Let's just take a look back at the Bitcoin chart here, see how we're doing. Go to the 15-minute chart. So this is a 15-minute, and so this was the dip yesterday. We came back up. So Ali, when will dominance go down? What's my idea about that? So this is the Bitcoin chart here. If Bitcoin is to, you know, it looks like we've made some support here for the time being. Like I said, there's a chance that we come down and hit the 44,000 mark. That is a key Fibonacci retracement level. That's a 50% retracement. If I zoom out here, we'll go to the hourly. So this Fibonacci retracement all the way back down from around 29,000 where we made a bottom all the way up to the top, okay? So this was the most recent big move we had. And from the top here, from this move, coming back down and retracing 50% is a very common target. And a lot of traders will be looking at that target. And what you want to see is if we do come down and hit the 50%, you want to see a kind of bounce there. And if you see that bounce, if traders see that bounce, they're going to look at that as confirmation that we are having a retracement. We hit the 50% and now we're going to move up higher. So you'll probably see a lot of buys happen at that time, which will help really make that a support level and most likely help us continue going up. Now, so we may hit the $44,000 mark, and then also the $40,000 mark is also a psychological level. And then besides it being a psychological level, it's also the 50-day moving average. So there's a few supports there. Yeah, I can draw out what I think will happen with Bitcoin. This is what I think will happen with Bitcoin, and if this happens, it in turn will say what I think will happen with altcoins. So I think, let's see here. So I think what Bitcoin will probably do is we might see a little bit of a dip, but you can see we're kind of slowing down the momentum. And I think we'll probably range in this area and kind of form a channel and kind of coil up and tighten up until that pattern breaks and we make a move eventually higher. Obviously not straight up like that. But I think this is more likely what will happen. And I think that could take, roughly 2 weeks. It will kind of give Bitcoin a time to cool down. This is, not financial advice, but this is what I think might happen. Okay? If this does happen, and I see Erpan, you're asking, I don't think we're going to go much lower than, I think 40,000 would be the lowest we go. But there's a lot of support. There's support here from history. And then there's also the 618 Fibonacci retracement and the 50-day moving average, plus 40,000 being a psychological level. I don't think we're going to go down that far. I think 44 will probably be as far as we go down. And then I think we'll just kind of range here for a little while, maybe a couple weeks. And then because of the institutional money, I don't believe this bull market's over. And I think you're going to see a lot of companies accumulate Bitcoin during this time. And then we will make another move up and go higher, probably breaking 60K eventually, and then moving on to 65, 70. That's what I think will happen by my analysis of the market. Now, if we go to dominance, Bitcoin dominance and the alt charts, the altcoins, I was talking about this before, but basically this is the beginning of the year. Since the beginning of the year, we've been in a downtrend, making, this is Bitcoin dominance, making lower highs and lower lows. And until now, we're kind of plateauing here. And I wouldn't really call this a trend change yet. I think we're kind of bouncing off this support that if we zoom out, if we go to the 12-hour here, if we zoom out, let's go to the daily. This support line is all the way back from the end of the bull market in January 2018. If we've hit it a couple times, and we hit it a third time this past summer, and now we're hitting it a fourth time. But I think there's a good chance if Bitcoin does what I said it might do, that will cause Bitcoin settles down, so people take their money out of Bitcoin and put it into altcoins, because Bitcoin's kind of settling down. They're not too worried about it popping up really fast or dropping. It's just kind of moving it within a channel. If that happens, I think people will feel comfortable enough to move some of their profits from Bitcoin into some other altcoins to kind of make gains on that. And if we see that, I believe we will see Bitcoin dominance fall, something like this, and we will see altcoins, possibly an alt season, where we see altcoins really gain. And I would expect us to, do something like that, but we might get all the way to the 50%, 50% Bitcoin dominance level before we see a rebound of any level. And this is because of this support line that we've been on since this summer, where overall Bitcoin dominance has it fell, and we hit this support line 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times before going up and topping out again. And so if we can break this 3-year trend line, I think we're going to keep going down and eventually hit this a 5th time before having another move up a little bit. But I don't think until the bull market's over we're going to see Bitcoin go above 67 would be the most, I think, for Bitcoin dominance. Not financial advice, but that would be my guess. And if there's any specific altcoins you want to look at, just let me know. But yeah, that's my analysis on the Bitcoin dominance and what I think Bitcoin might do in the short term. Turn some music back on. We check back in with Ethereum. We'll see if it's holding support. So it looks like, you know, Ethereum had its two big dips, and it may be holding support here. If we draw this line here, basically we want Ethereum to keep moving up along this line. And it looks like it just broke out of the top of this pattern. So I would expect us to have a little bit of a move. If we go to the hourly, it's probably, yeah, we just got over the hourly the 9-hour moving average. So I'm expecting we're trying to go up a little bit here. George, do you long Doge now or wait for the lower price? Let's take a look at Doge here. So this is the Doge dollar pairing. So this was our chart from before these past couple days. And if we look here, you know, we did break down, mostly due to Bitcoin, what's happened with Bitcoin, but this was a key resistance level. It acted as resistance and support back here in early February, and then we hit it again here, and again here, and again we had a little dip there. But my point being, I would wait until we got back above, let's see, it's about 4.76 cents. Let's see what you ask. You think about limiting at 43 cents. Yeah, so if you're able to get back up above 4.7 cents here, what you want to see, George, is some support. You want to see us get back up here and then come down and make that support. Once you see that happen and you have like possibly at least an hour candle that holds this as support, I would, not financial advice, but I would buy in at around the 5, around the 5 cents, maybe 4.9 cents. And then I would make my stop loss below this line a little bit, around 47 cents or 4.7, 4.6 cents maybe, just in case you break below it again. But this has acted as a key resistance and support a lot. So, until you break it, I wouldn't, try to buy in at these levels necessarily. Because if you see, we came down this morning and we came back up and hit it as resistance, and then we came back down, and most likely we're going to try to hit it again. If you don't want to long, if you buy and hold, so that's definitely a lot safer bet. And I would say a lot of that depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin settles down here, if Bitcoin drops a lot more, which I don't see it dropping all that much, maybe from 45,000, I think the lowest it will probably go is 44,000. But if it drops down a lot, then Doge will most likely drop with it. If it settles down, or if Bitcoin, starts to gradually move up more, I think Doge will keep going up as well. But if it settles down, there's a good chance, we were just talking about altcoin dominance and Bitcoin dominance. There's a good chance that Bitcoin will lose dominance and a lot of that money will go into some of the altcoins, especially ones, in the top 100 like Doge. So, and obviously Doge has a lot of viral support as well. So we'll see what happens. You also have this trend line. If we extend that, this will also be a line of support as well if you go down that far. But most likely if you're able to break this level, I think you'll probably see more of an upswing for Doge, because it did break up recently. It just got brought down because of the Bitcoin, because of what happened with Bitcoin. That's why a lot of these had these dips. It's not due to Dogecoin fundamentals or anything like that. It's just based on what happened with Bitcoin. So yeah, I mean, I would, if you're looking to hold, I still believe we're in a more long-term bull market, and I think the majority of cryptocurrency as a whole are going to rise over the next 5 to 8 months. I think in that time period, I think everything will end up going up. I don't believe the bull run's over. I think far from it. The institutions are just getting started buying into Bitcoin. And the retail FOMO hasn't even really happened yet. That's when you kind of know we're getting close to the end of the bull run, is when somebody's grandma, a friend's grandma is asking you how she can buy Dogecoin. That's probably a good a telltale sign that we might be we might be close to the finish line of the bull market. Let's see, but is 4.5 cents a good time to buy at, since it's slightly early into the bull run? Let's see here. We came up. Let's do a Fibonacci retracement for. Obviously we had this huge viral moment for Dogecoin, but then we seemed to make a bottom here, and then we made a top here. So let's do a Fibonacci retracement and see what levels might be good entering points for you here. So if we go here, and we're going to take this bottom here. And go up to the top point here. And so a big support line would have been the 50% retracement, which did not hold, but we ended up coming down to the 786 level here, and you can see we hit that almost perfectly, and made it support, and we're coming back up. So you know, that's a lower level. In my opinion, not financial advice, but as far as a bull run goes, you know, you're over 60% from, you're over 70, almost 80% from its peak here. So from the last time it ran up to the top. So if we zoom out a little bit and look at more of a, you know, broader look at this, we came up, we made a higher high, higher low, and came up again and made that same high, but made a higher low. So it looks like it's consolidating here. This candle is totally due to the Bitcoin chart. So no, I don't think it's too, I think it is a good time to buy. Not financial advice, but I would expect Bitcoin to slow down here or have a nice bounce back up. If we go lower, I don't think it's going to be that much, and I think all of these altcoins are going to go up eventually. And you know, if from the top here, let's just clean this up a little bit. From the top here, you're down about 50%, 48, 50%. So yeah, I don't think it would be bad. You know, you're not making a lower low, so it very well, you know, if things pick up for the altcoins or Bitcoin, dollar value wise, Dogecoin should continue going up and possibly making a higher high. You just want to keep an eye when it does make another tracement up. See if it makes a higher low or a higher high. If it makes a higher low, if you only come up, and let's clean this up a little bit. If you come up, if you come up and you don't eventually pass this level, that might mean a sign that, you know, that is a top for you. So you just want to, I think Dogecoin will continue to go up if Bitcoin does, but you want to be putting your stop loss in, you know, and just making sure you take in that profit. You know, if there is another crash, you know, you want to make sure you don't lose any profits. Right. If you make a higher high, you know, you might want to sell. especially at like a key, you know, if you see, where did it get to here? Yeah, you got to about 8.7 cents. I would say, you know, 10 cents is going to be a key resistance for Dogecoin. I don't think it's going to blow right past 10 cents. So you might want to take some profits when you're getting close, anywhere between 9 and 10 cents. Take some profits and wait for a retracement again. And if you have a retracement and it makes a higher low and you see that confirmed, you might want to, you know, that might be a point where you buy back in a little bit. But overall, you know, in the long term, it's looking good. It made a higher high, and now it's making a higher low, and it was consolidating. I would have been pretty surprised if Dogecoin consolidated here, and then it probably was pretty close to breaking out again. But then Bitcoin happened, because there was a long period here where it was staying in this range. So once it broke, you know, about 6 cents, it probably would have had a big move up. But Bitcoin kind of messed that up for you. But yeah, I don't think it's a horrible time to buy. I think most of cryptocurrency had a big dip, but Bitcoin and most of the altcoins look like they might be settling down. And I think that's good for the whole market as a whole. We want Bitcoin obviously to go up, but I think having a cool down period is good for it. Let it kind of build up some pressure, build up some consolidation, give people opportunities to get into Bitcoin. You know, maybe a lot of them felt like 50,000 is too high. So ZIL USD, yeah, we could check that out. Let's see here. Let's see. So this is ZIL, and let's take a look here. Let's zoom out. Let's go to the daily first and work our way in. So, yeah, this looks a lot like the Bitcoin chart. But you can see we came up, we made a higher high, higher low, consolidated, and then had a nice breakout here. And you know, this Bitcoin move really really brought you down quite a bit, but you hit some key resistance here. Let's see. Pretty much right where it, you know, there was obviously some traders looking at this spot, and it got bought right back up. Right around 8 cents. That had been a hard level. You see, you broke it here and then had a retracement, and then it kind of acted as resistance until you broke it again, and then you shot up almost 100% from there. So even though you we had this recent crash, you still made a higher low here, and it picked up support. So let me erase that, and we'll look at it on a little closer scale. We'll move into the 4-hour. And you can see here on the RSI, as soon as you hit 8 cents, that's where on the 4-hour we hit oversold conditions. We went below 30 on the RSI, and that's, it got bought up really quick, and you're ranging here. So what's nice is that it also looks like on the MACD here that the selling momentum is wearing down a little bit, but that's something you gotta keep an eye on. But we'll move into the 1-hour and see where we are. So this past hour has been good because you can see the 9-hour moving average. I'm sure some traders are looking at that, and you want to be able to close a candle above that, and possibly close the day above the 9-hour EMA, because it was acting as resistance for this period of time. But on the hour chart, you made your low here, made a higher high and a higher low. So on the 1-hour, what you want to see now is the 1-hour get above basically 1 cent or 10 cents, 10.4 cents here. That would be, and you don't want to see it drop below 9.3 cents. On the 1-hour, if it could range here, that's okay. And then hopefully, break up out of its pattern. But yeah, you can see the 1-hour is looking good. Hopefully things are settling down. Now again, all of this really has to do with what Bitcoin does. But I would say, this was looking really good, and it had a major correction here, more than a lot of the altcoins for what happened with Bitcoin. You went right back down all the way to your previous resistance, which most of the altcoins didn't do. They didn't go down that much. So you could look at that like that's not a good thing, but I would argue that you also have a lot more percentage to gain to get back up to where you were. This is a lot lower than some of the other altcoins percentage-wise. Some of them have already gotten back up to closer to where they were before the drop, where ZIL took a bigger hit to begin with. So yeah, if you were able to buy back in, down here, I think that's a good buy if you're able to get in down here. Right, that's like 100% back up to where it topped out. And it looks like, it was on a, if we draw out what it was on, so this almost an ascending triangle, and you can see when it did break it, it took a little dip, and then Bitcoin happened. But this was February 20th. So, something, it seemed to have broken down out of this pattern before Bitcoin had its correction. So, if we make that a little bit, it seemed to have broken out and possibly was hitting resistance here. If we zoom in, came down, hit resistance, and even though it broke down out of this pattern, it, on the long term, it still didn't make a lower low than this point here. So, just because it breaks out of a smaller pattern, it probably just means you were going to consolidate for a longer period of time and kind of create a new pattern. But then we had the big drop from Bitcoin. So, I think this was probably one of the better altcoins to be able to get in after the big dip, if you're able to get in between 8 and 9 cents. So again, with a lot of this has to do with Bitcoin, but this definitely has a major support at the 8 cents mark. You had all the way back in December, the end of December through February 8th, this created a big support range for you. So there was a lot of buying going on here, a lot of consolidation. So I would expect this support to hold if you were able to buy anywhere. Most likely patience is going to be the game here, and just waiting for another move up. You could also, if Bitcoin does go down a little bit more, there's a possibility you come back down and, you could have a buy set up, not financial advice, but you could have a buy set up at around 8 cents. I would be surprised if, unless Bitcoin drastically falls, that this support gets broken, because there's, a lot of historical support for it. How did I learn how to analyze charts? Well, I used to work at Chase Bank years ago, and I got my Series 6 and 7 there, and I was able to, I didn't really work with stocks much, but I was around the industry a lot. And then for the past 5 years, I've been involved in crypto and kind of self-teaching technical analysis, watching, first few years, watching a lot of similar streamers, and just videos, learning more of the basic I don't like to go too crazy. I try to look at the long term more. But yeah, we'll see. I'm live streaming 4 days a week, and I might end up making shorter videos for specific analysis on certain things. So we'll see. But yeah, it's working out pretty well. Yeah, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment on any of the videos. That helps me out in the YouTube algorithms. But yeah, I might even look at getting a little bag of Zill here. Let's check back in on Bitcoin here. This is on the hourly. And yeah, you can see on Bitcoin here, this morning we dropped all the way down 45,000. That's a big psychological level. Thank you, George. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, what coins am I holding right now? I mainly hold a lot of the DeFi projects. I know they, kind of had a moment to shine recently, and some of the Ethereum fees are kind of slowing some of them down. But in the long run, I think they're pretty safe bets. Not financial advice, but I think they're pretty. Those are some of the ones, like Aave. I really like that the whole lending. Using crypto for lending services, and and the users being able to benefit off the interest or fees and whatnot. They're one of the main players in that part. And Ethereum, I hold Ethereum and Polkadot. I kind of hold Polkadot as a hedge for Ethereum, even though I believe Ethereum is going to kind of stay the king of smart contracts, and will end up being a worldwide cryptocurrency that a lot of industries end up using in some way or another. 90% of the developers getting into smart contract coding are going into Ethereum, and Cardano and Polkadot being and Elrond, they're all kind of the competitors there. But Ethereum has already established itself so much that even though they might gain a lot of ground in the short term, I think some of the phases of Ethereum 2.0 end up coming to fruition, it's just going to kind of launch it to a point where no one can catch up anymore. Now that's not to say Polkadot and Cardano aren't going to have their piece of the pie, but I think Ethereum will be the main the main cryptocurrency for as far as use case goes in many industries. And there's already so many cryptocurrencies are already ERC20 tokens. They're already part of the Ethereum ecosystem. So it's just going to be the strongest blockchain for companies to start using if they want to bring blockchain into their company or industry. So but you can think of it as investing. Like I like to think of these as investing in companies early, like investing in Apple and Amazon, Tesla, at the beginning stages, where those companies, unless you were very close to people involved in them, you didn't really have the opportunity to get into those, to invest in those so early, where now there's so much information online, and cryptocurrency it's still at its beginning stages. Bitcoin's only 10 years old, and a lot of these projects are only a couple years old. So I look at it as getting the opportunity to invest in some of these projects, like Ethereum, Polkadot, but they'll all end up being big, good investments in the long term. Not financial advice, but I believe that the world is not, digital is the future, and going from centralized to decentralized versions, I believe a lot of industries will move that way, and a lot of industries will incorporate blockchain technology into their industry, because it will have less errors. There'll be less human errors, and it's just proven to be more efficient, and can't be messed with as much. So yeah, that's the way I look at what coins I'm holding, which was your main question. But yeah, mainly, I stick with mainly coins in the top 100. And then only hold a few that are less. Right, that's the way I look at it, buying crypto now. And a lot of people think, oh, Bitcoin hit 50,000, so I'm too late, but I don't believe that to be the case at all. And like I said, that retail FOMO, I haven't seen it the way I did see it in 2017. That's why I don't think this bull run's over. That's one of the reasons, but I think we have a ways to go, and you'll see those altcoins rising a lot because people buy a little Bitcoin, but they're like, oh, I can buy all these other coins too, which haven't moved as much as Bitcoin. So they start getting a taste and then kind of going crazy with it, and this is people that you would never guess are getting into it. That's when maybe it's getting close to the end, but that hasn't happened yet, in my opinion. Yeah, yeah. I don't think all the. I don't think many. You know, there's like 8,000 cryptocurrencies now. I don't think. I think 90% of them probably won't exist in a few years. That won't mean they won't try to get replaced by other cryptocurrencies, but yeah, a lot of projects just won't last. You know, they don't have good fundamentals, good teams behind them, um, and even some that have both of those. You know, you also need kind of, you know, to break through. You need good marketing. You need, you know, everything a good company has. You need that with cryptocurrencies too. So, you know, that's why you want to watch out. Some projects have the best marketing, but they actually don't have any fundamental use. So they basically are able to get their cryptos trending or going viral, and they'll make millions, or you know, whatever amount of money they want, and then they'll kind of just let the project die once they've made money off of it. So that you got to be very careful in this industry, and that's kind of why I like talking about it. I like protecting people. You know, we were talking about margin trading and futures trading, leverage trading earlier. So a lot of the YouTube channels, they'll have, you know, leverage trading promo codes in their comments and stuff. You'll never see that from me because I don't think it's healthy for especially people getting into this industry, you know, getting told, oh, go make a Bybit account or make a leverage trading account, when they really don't really know what they're doing. And you know, you can lose a lot of money really quickly doing it. It's just way more risky, while this market is already risky enough. It's already volatile enough. You don't need to add to, you know, the percent gains and losses. It's already moving, you know, it's moving enough. You don't need that. So yeah, and like it's different if you've been around, you know how to trade, and you know you have plans, you know how to do stop losses and everything. You know, you're waiting for dips like that. You know, that can be, you know, you can make money. I just don't like when a lot of channels are, you know, promoting it so much when they know a lot of people watching don't know what they're doing. Yeah, let's take a look at Link. I know we looked at it a few days ago. I do like Link as a project. Yeah, it was looking really good. We had these drawn for the past week or a couple weeks. It was in this channel, broke out, made a new channel here, and broke out of that one and was able to make a new all-time high up here, which we can draw. This would be the new resistance level here. We can erase this one. And yeah, we'll clean this up a bit. yeah, so, you know, again, it looked like, trying to see when the Bitcoin, let me go to Bitcoin real quick and see exactly when the drop was, just to give us kind of a better sense here. So it was right around the 21st, around 10 p.m. roughly, maybe 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's kind of started. And then, so the 21st around, right around here. So this is when Bitcoin started moving down. And yeah, I think Link was looking very good here. Where was it? Yeah, this hold on a second. It looks like we were like making another no, it broke out up here. And then it was making another little channel here. If we zoom in. Right, we consolidated here, broke up, and then we were headed and we hit all-time highs. So if we draw basically that became our new support line, and we made all-time highs here, and then we broke down, and then this was right when Bitcoin started crashing. So I mean, I think there's a good chance Chainlink might have continued on this path and kept going up. Because that was only a smaller move from its previous all-time high. It only went up about $1, $2 almost. So I would have guessed that it probably would have done something like like this and kept going a little higher. But this was right where Bitcoin started crashing. And that brought us all the way down. And you could see this support tried to hold the first day, but it couldn't, because this support went back quite a long ways, weeks. So it broke, and then this was today. So again, I mean, I would look for us to get back into this channel. That would be, if we zoom out here, let's look at the 4 hour, this channel is, has been around, I think it even goes further than that. Oops. It roughly goes back to January 11th. So that's a very strong support line there. I would expect us, if Bitcoin can settle down, kind of regain a little bit of its losses, but either go up or just go sideways, I would expect Chainlink to get back up and hopefully it will probably hit resistance here at first. Might take a couple tries, but eventually get back up here, and you know, it might hit a couple times, but get back up and then make it support again. That's what I would hope to see out of Chainlink, and then try to, you know, eventually go up and break all-time highs again. But that's what you want to see, and you know, unless we see a Bitcoin drop, it looks like if we go to like the 15-minute chart, let's take a look. This is our new low here. And let me VET. No, I don't own any VET. What do you know what that project, like what it's focused on? But Link making a higher high, higher low. Yeah, like we're consolidating, it looks like here. And if Bitcoin settles down, I would expect us to move back up and try to get back into this channel. So, you know, what we're hoping for, sideways movement with Bitcoin, or, you know, recovering, getting back up. I'll look at let me see VT here. Oh, VeChain, okay. Yeah, the Thor. Yeah, I have, I know VeChain is pretty popular. It has a kind of a community behind it. We could take a look at it here. Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of looking pretty similar to, looks pretty similar to Zill, I think Zilliqa, right? It had another pretty big drop. Like 80%. Let's see. Or 50%. Okay, so like 42%. Yeah, it looks a lot like Zilliqa. Supply chain management. Nice. Yeah, I have heard of VeChain. I just didn't know its symbols were VET, but VeChain. I know that it has the Thor memes, right? Yeah, see, like, I think this is a lot of people will be looking at these kind of charts, these type of coins for, you know, it seems like VeChain and Zilliqa, if Bitcoin drops, can take some of the bigger hits, but they'll probably have the bigger recoveries once things settle down. So, you know, kind of riskier, but also, you know, probably some of the better coins to get in at the at those dips. But yeah, it's the same sort of, you know, same kind of analysis. It's kind of hard to do technical analysis when you have, you know, on altcoins, especially right now, because Bitcoin kind of messed up all of the patterns, because it had such a, if Bitcoin just gradually, you know, went down to 45,000, it, you know, that wouldn't have had such a drastic effect on everything. Most of these patterns would have held up on these altcoins, you know, but instead having it just brings down the whole market, and in a dramatic fashion. So it's kind of hard to you know, this obviously had a very nice pattern before the last couple days. And again, you just want to, the goal is to get back into these channels. This had a really nice kind of ascending triangle here. What's the lowest? What's the lowest I think Bitcoin can go realistically, not theoretically? So, I mean, that all depends on what kind of the time frame you're talking about. But I'll give you, in the short term, I not that it can't. Let me put up the weekly chart, and we'll do the 21 week moving average, okay? We came down to the 21 week moving average, which is down here at 30,000. We came here a lot of times, a few times during the last bull market. So technically, on a weekly time frame, coming down to 30,000 right now would still not change the upward trend we are in. So realistically, the lowest I think we will go in the short term is 30,000. I don't think we're going to go that far, but if you're asking what's the lowest I think we could go in the short term, it would be 30,000 at this moment in time. Now this 21-week moving average is going up, every day it's going up a bit, or every week anyway. So at the end of the week, it will probably be closer to like 32,000. But if we were to drop today, I think we would see a very significant bounce if we were to get to 30,000 to this 21 week, the purple line here. Now I don't think that's going to happen. I think we'll 40,000, the 618 Fibonacci level, the 9-week moving average, and I believe the 50-day moving average all line up right around 40,000. I think that's in the short term as low as we will probably go. And then in the long term, yeah, I would be buying some more at 30,000 too. But in the long term, not financial advice, I think Bitcoin will probably end up, it's a big range, but between 100,000 and 250,000. I think, I know that's a very big range, but somewhere in between there will probably be a top. I think we will hit 100,000 this bull cycle, and I think it will probably be hard to break 100,000, but I do think we will. And again, not financial advice, but somewhere, from there to 250,000, we'll hit a top. And once we have more historical data from now till then, it will kind of, maybe I could shorten that range a little bit where I think we're headed, but there's not really enough time that's happened and enough data on the charts to figure out where we're going. But yeah, I would, the best thing to do is dollar cost average. Pick like a point where you would be very happy if Bitcoin got to, let's say, 150,000, hypothetically, theoretically. Let's say that's where I would be very happy if it went that high. And then, maybe sell 1% of your Bitcoin holdings every $5,000 from 80,000 to 150,000. Sell 1 or 2% of your holdings all the way up, because you're never going to be able to time the top. So, no, it's good, George. I'm glad to answer some questions. I've been doing technical analysis a while, but I've only been streaming. I'm trying to grow streaming, just overall analysis of the market. But you said buying Doge at 45 cents a good buy. I think the price was pretty low. I'm planning to hold it for a month. Yeah, I mean, if you were able to get it at 45, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you're at 40. Yeah, I don't think Bitcoin's going to go much below 40,000. And if Bitcoin does go to 40,000, there'll probably be a big bounce there, where Doge might go down to like 4 cents, but it would probably be back up past 45 cents within an hour or two. So Bitcoin could bring it down, but and you have that 9-week EMA right at 4 cents for Dogecoin. I would expect a big bounce there. So yeah, it's the same thing. Right. Yeah. If Bitcoin goes below 40K, you could definitely. It's definitely going to be a buying opportunity for a lot of different coins. But yeah, I think you'll be able to hold. If you hold for another month, you could be in very good shape with Dogecoin. As a summary of your question there, I think, if I had to bet on it, not financial advice, but I think altcoins are going to have a nice recovery, is a better way of saying it. Just want to take a look at Ethereum here. So yeah, Ethereum was able to break out of that channel. Go a little higher here, but it looks like it might be making a higher low for consolidation. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with Bitcoin. We've hit this $45,000 mark 3 times now in the past 12 hours. So, or 10 hours. So that's, it's on a short-term time frame, so there's no real telling, but technically that's a triple bottom. It seems to be holding up. Yeah. Yeah, he, I don't know, he might have used up all of his Dogecoin tweeting clout. I don't know if it's going to work quite the same, but you never know. But yeah, even Dogecoin is kind of just a good coin to have some at all times, because it seems to have these viral moments, even if it's a year later, it can have a viral moment at any point and go up 10x in a day. So it's kind of crazy. It's had viral moments like this before Elon tweeted about it. Had it a year ago, 2 years ago. It went up, like 6x in a day. So it's the meme coin, so I will be very surprised if it never has another viral moment. But for getting viral moments, the majority of people investing in it have no idea what it does anyway. So they are, they just look at it as like, oh, it's only 4 cents. I'm gonna buy a lot of Dogecoin, because they don't understand market caps. They just see it on Twitter. So see it in the news, like Like it's it could easily, and you're coming up here to that resistance point. So yeah, let's see if you could break up past here and get back on this channel here. That would be good. Right, it doesn't really have any fundamental use, you know. Some try to argue it as a little bit, but I would not be investing in it for any fundamental use. But these markets can be insane for, you know, they can just be speculative, and you know, a lot of traders who know exactly that it, you know that it has barely any fundamental use, they don't care. They'll look at the charts and they'll just trade strictly by the charts. And if the chart looked good, like I saw a lot of people tweeting this pattern here. Came up and it followed this, but it had 2 times where it bottomed out and it lined up with this previous resistance, and this was a nice breakout out of this triangle. So they knew by this technical analysis that they wanted to buy when it got close to here, and you stood to make you know, from the very bottom, you stood to make, if you sold at the top, 22%. Just following this, you know, they didn't care that Dogecoin's only a meme coin. Yeah, and with, you know, 41% where it held up the first time, you can see we move that down a little bit. Right there, it held up, and I would say mainly because right here, that's where it had, you know, it had resistance here before, broke out, and then came down and made support. So, and there was resistance here too. So this is the 4.1 cents. That's, you know, if it does have another correction right around 40, you know, 4.1 cents or 4.2 cents would probably be a nice place to buy if you're doing long term. Not financial advice, but that's, you know, and we'll see if it can break out of here. We go on to 5 minute. So you're going up. Let's see, it's, you know, it might take a couple tries, but if you could get back in this channel and make support and go back, start heading back up, I'd say that's a really good sign for your buy that you made. All right, well, George, it was nice chatting with you and doing some charts for you. Be sure to check out my other videos. Like I said, I just started streaming this week, but my first couple videos have I talk a lot about my general outlook to of the crypto market and Bitcoin on a long-term perspective, and on this bull cycle, what I think will probably happen. And so if you want to check out those, we also do a lot of charting. But basically, I'm streaming Monday through Thursday. Gonna stream for like 2 to 2.5 hours. Do some news stuff in the very beginning, and then basically do charting. The rest of the time, and we'll always check out Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of the main coins, and then any requests as well. But if you know anybody, interested in crypto, I know a lot of people are starting to get interested right now. Go ahead and share my first live stream with them if they want a kind of broad analysis on the market. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. And I'm just gonna leave everybody with my intro movie here, and thanks for checking out. God bless.